the Degree Apprenticeship Strategy Guide for Gap Year Students. In this video, I'm going to give you the step-by-step strategy for getting into a degree apprenticeship as a gap year student, exactly what it says on the tin. So who is this guide for? Well, this guide is for gap year students who are looking to apply for degree apprenticeships starting in September 2025. And why should you listen to me in this video today? Well, in the past, I've received 8 degree apprenticeship offers, and I'm currently at the end of my first year as a degree apprentice. And I also help people who get degree apprenticeships in the engineering, technology, and finance industries. Here are some of the people I helped last year get degree apprenticeships from companies like Amazon, JLR, KPMG, Rolls-Royce, IBM, just to name a few. Okay, so let's get into this video. The 5 steps for getting into a degree apprenticeship as a gap year student. There's going to be timestamps in the description if you want to skip to any specific part of it. Just before we get into that, as a gap year student, you are in a very good position, okay? Because you have to think about who you're competing against. Most people, when they're applying to degree apprenticeships, they do it in year 13. Okay, so they're applying during year 13 and they'll start their degree apprenticeship like straight after that. You've basically taken a gap year, give yourself an extra 12 months. This means you're not having to revise for A-levels, you're not having to do schoolwork, you're not having to do year 13 work at the same time. So just want to start off with this. You're in a very good position actually, because you can really focus on your degree apprenticeship applications this year, focus on putting in as much effort and as much work and investing your time into it as you can, give yourself the best chance. Think about the year 13s who they're having to do A-levels and schoolwork on top of it. So you're in a really good position. Let's get into the 5 steps for getting a degree apprenticeship as a gap year student. Okay, so there's 2 things you actually need to do. Like if you break it down, there's 2 things you need to do to get a degree apprenticeship. Number 1, you need to be a good candidate, and number 2, you need to do well in the application process. Okay, so we're going to cover both of these points throughout this video. So let's start off with this first one, being a good candidate. Okay, that's the key one you can focus on right now and get this one out of the way and make sure that you are a good, high quality candidate. Okay. Most degree apprenticeship applications start to open from sort of November onwards, okay? And it can be a bit earlier, sort of September, October time for the finance industry, but a lot of companies, they end up opening their applications in November, December, January, February. It all sort of like comes in a big wave around the October, November sort of time. What this means is if you're watching this video in September when this video is going to come out, it means you now have 1 to 2 months to level yourself up as a candidate. And as I mentioned previously, one of the most important things to get a degree apprenticeship is to be a good candidate, and you have 1 to 2 months now to level yourself up as a candidate. Okay, so that is step 1, level up. This is the checklist I want you to follow in the first couple of months now to level yourself up as a candidate so that you can go into these degree apprenticeship applications as a good candidate, right? So here's a checklist, and there's also a Notion document in the description in case you want a copy of this, and then you can check it off yourself and all that sort of thing. So the first thing first is you want 1 times in-person work experience placement. Okay, work experience is super important because it shows so many things. It shows you're proactive, it shows you take initiative, you're going to learn things about the industry, you're going to learn things about the company, a lot of insider knowledge. Work experience is the number 1 reason I actually got all my 8 degree apprenticeship offers, because of the in-person work experience placement I did. Okay, when they see something like this on the application, it's really good. Since COVID, not many people bothered with in-person work experience, or they can't even get it. So if you manage to get in-person work experience, then that's going to look really good on your application. In the Notion document, I've linked a video which explains how to get in-person work experience. I would also recommend having 2 virtual work experience placements alongside these, okay? And definitely make sure you're getting these virtual ones if you don't manage to get any in-person work experience, okay? In my applications to degree apprenticeships, I would be usually naming 3 to 4 work experiences in total in each of my CVs. Okay, so you don't want to just have 1 work experience. You want to be having 3 or 4. If possible, get 1 in person. Otherwise, you can get them virtual. A couple of websites there, SpringPod. The second one's called Speakers for Schools. Or you can check out a list of the best work experience opportunities which are available right now, which I've put the link there in the Notion document in the description. The next thing I'd recommend is a company webinar per industry and a massive open online course per industry, okay? These are 2 different things, so a webinar and a course where you're going to learn lots of specific knowledge relevant to that industry. It's going to show you proactive, and it's going to show that you're taking an initiative in your learning, okay? And the key word here is per industry, okay? Because a lot of people apply for degree apprenticeships always in the same industry. So maybe you're just interested in finance apprenticeships. Maybe you're just interested in like chemical engineering apprenticeships. Maybe you're just interested in software engineering apprenticeships. If that's fine, then you only necessarily need to do 1 webinar or 1 course. But there's also a lot of people who mix between going different industries. So they'll apply to a couple which are in the technology industry, a couple which are in the engineering industry, a couple which are in the pharmaceutical industry, etc. You need to make sure that you have a relevant course for each of those. There's no point applying to the pharmaceutical industry and you have like a aerospace engineering course, and there's no point applying to an aerospace engineering course and saying how you've done this course on like pharmaceuticals, right? It needs to be relevant. So this is what I did. I did about 4 online courses, and the reason for that was I was basically applying to 4 sort of different industries. So the 4 industries I personally applied to in my degree apprenticeship applications was civil engineering, which is like roads and bridges and building stuff like that. Automotive engineering, so cars basically. Aerospace engineering, so planes. And then the final one was pharmaceutical companies. And I actually did 4 different courses. So I did one course which was about highway design and bridge design to go with the civil engineering. I did one course on electric vehicles and hydrogen vehicles, which goes with the automotive engineering. I did another one about aeronautical engineering, which obviously goes with those aerospace engineering, aeroplane sort of apprenticeships I was applying to. And then I also did a course on sort of disease and biology, which went with the pharmaceuticals course that I did. Okay, so that's what you need to make sure you're doing. When you're doing those company webinars, doing those online courses, those some websites you can check out free courses on, make sure you're doing one for each industry. Because then when you're putting in your CV for each of those different companies, you can tailor it and choose the course you want to go in. When you're applying to an engineering company, pull up your engineering course. When you're applying to a technology company, pull up your technology, your software engineering course. Okay, does that make sense? And now these next two, these are really important. They might seem kind of random, but they are really important. So the first one is a presentation, okay? And this is something that I've always recommended people do if they're serious about getting into a degree apprenticeship, okay? What I mean by a presentation is you want to make sure that you, at some point, deliver a presentation to a group of people, okay? The reason for this is because, number one, it's going to make you better at presentation and communication, okay? Communication skills are probably one of the most important things for a workplace. Okay, they are looking for your communication skills. This means that if you don't have communication skills, if you can't demonstrate you have communication skills, you're not going to be a good candidate. You need to make sure that you can show to the recruiter, I have good communication skills. What better way to do that than explaining, I delivered a presentation in front of 30 people, right? Like 95% of the population these days is like socially awkward and is scared of doing a presentation. So if you're that one candidate who goes into this application process and you've in the past delivered a presentation to like 30 people, straight away you're standing out as a candidate, you're at the top. In my applications, I was putting that I delivered a presentation to about 200 people. Because I did like a talk to the year group below me at my school. About 200 people I talked to, I put that on my application. That makes me a top 1% candidate because 99% of people have not delivered a presentation to 200 people. They don't have those confidence skills, those public speaking skills, those communication skills. So that's why presentation is a really good example to show off to the recruiter. You have confidence, you have communication skills, you have presentation skills. Another reason why doing a presentation is really good is because actually during a lot of the application processes, they actually assess your presentation skills. So at the end of the degree apprenticeship application process, the last sort of stage for most of them is an assessment center. A lot of them have like a presentation stage where you have to deliver a presentation to the assessor and they basically assess how good was your presentation. If you've never done a presentation before, you're not going to be very good at it and you're not going to do well in that stage and you're going to struggle to successfully get the degree apprenticeship. However, if you've done a presentation before, maybe if you've done multiple before, you're going to be good at presenting, you're going to be good at presentations, you're going to do well in that stage and you can get the offer. So that's why it's so important to do a presentation. And it's a bit more difficult now that you're in your gap year, because what I say to students who are in year 12 or year 13 is just go to a club at school or go in like your assembly at school and do a presentation. You can put that on your CV, mention that in your interviews. It's a bit more difficult now that you're in your gap year. But I honestly think it can be something as simple as literally present to your friends. This is what I recommend. It's still better than nothing. If you literally just spend a couple of hours pulling together a presentation on a technical topic such as engineering or finance or technology, Python coding, whatever it is, HTML coding, pull together a presentation and then just literally ask a bunch of your friends to like jump on a video call and then just present them to it. Okay, and obviously it's not like an official assembly or anything crazy like that, but it's like at least you've got the experience and you can say, I delivered this presentation to my friends to explain this topic, and it helped develop my confidence and my communication skills to deliver this presentation to 10 people who are watching me live. Okay, so that's better than nothing. It's better to like just do it online to your friends or something like that than not doing anything at all. So make sure you get a presentation like that done. And then the other thing is teamwork, sort of teamwork events I've called them, right? Because as I said, when they're like choosing a candidate, they're looking for things like communication skills. Another key one is teamwork skills. This is super useful because in the workplace, in a degree apprenticeship, you're going to have to work within a team, work with colleagues. You need to have those teamwork skills, okay? So it's really important that you've shown examples in the past of where you've worked in a team. Okay, so have you been part of a sports team where you had to work with the other players in the football team, for example? Or have you had a weekend job where you had to like work with other waiters or cashiers, or done volunteering, you had to work with other colleagues, that sort of thing? You want to make sure that you've got two or even three examples where you've worked as a team, because this means in your application you can talk about these experiences you've done to work in a team, and they see you got teamwork. In your interview, when they ask you, tell me about a time when you've worked as a team, you can like discuss some of the things you've done in the past that show you have good teamwork skills, you have good collaboration skills. Okay, that one is really important. You want to make sure that you're doing that. And also there's another aspect of it. It's also good at showing your leadership skills, because quite often when you're working in a team, you might actually have to take charge of the team. Okay, so if you can do something like, if you're a captain of a sports team, boom, you're showing off your leadership there as well. So there's two aspects of that teamwork. There's obviously the teamwork side of it, but there's also the leadership side of it. Because in a degree apprenticeship, a lot of them, especially companies like Amazon, they're looking for leadership skills. You're confident, you can make decisions, you can include people, all these sorts of things. Okay, so once again, I'll have the Notion document in the description with this list. And basically what I'd recommend is over the next 1 to 2 months, basically as soon as you can, try and tick off all of these, because this is genuinely like a blueprint to becoming a really good candidate, having a really good application, is having all of these things here ticked off. Okay, let's move on to step 2. Okay, prepare. Here's what you need to do in step 2. You need to write a draft CV first of all, then write a draft cover letter. Okay, most companies for degree apprenticeships, their applications, they're going to ask for a CV and a cover letter. Okay, some companies don't, some companies ask just for a CV, but in general, a lot of the companies you're going to be applying to are going to ask a CV and a cover letter. What you want to do is in advance make sure that you've got a draft CV ready and a draft cover letter ready. Okay, this is going to make it much easier when it comes to apply, because you've got a base to work off. Okay, you don't have to start from zero, suddenly making a CV from scratch in like 24 hours before you need to apply. If you have a CV a couple of weeks, cover letter a couple of weeks beforehand, it's all just ready to go. It means it's a lot easier when you come to apply. So what I'd recommend is in this stage, write a draft CV, write a draft cover letter. And then also, by the way, you can get personalized feedback from me. So loads of people have sent me their CV and cover letter, and I like send them a video basically giving them feedback, explaining, oh, you can improve this, you can improve this. I think you could do this work experience opportunity. You could mention this, you could talk about this. And basically this is really going to help you in the degree apprenticeship application process and sort of give you that winning CV, that winning cover letter. Okay. Here's some reviews from some previous customers. I've had gap year students who have sent me their CV and cover letter. So I definitely recommend that. Make that draft CV, make that draft cover letter, send it to me, and I'll see where you can improve, and then you can improve it. And then by the time you come to apply, you're going to have a really good CV and cover letter. The link for that will be in the description if you're interested in getting my feedback. Okay, so once you've done that, you've got your draft CV, you've got your draft cover letter, you've done all your work experience, you make yourself a good candidate, you've got good history, good skills, good experience, all this sort of thing. The next step is to apply. Okay, and this application is going to come around, as I said earlier, a lot of them starting from November onwards. For finance, it can be a bit earlier, September, October. So basically you have, for those first 2 steps, you have basically the amount of time you have until applications open. So like until November, basically, that's when you can fit in steps 1 and 2. So you really want to try and make sure you're doing steps 1 and 2. So when you're applying, you want to make sure you apply to 10 plus degree apprenticeships. Okay, there's so many stories of people who apply to 1 degree apprenticeship, or they apply to 2 degree apprenticeships and they don't get it. Okay, because degree apprenticeships are really, really competitive. I'll show you some figures in a second, but it's just not worth the risk applying to 1 degree apprenticeship, because if you get rejected, well, you then can't do a degree apprenticeship. What I recommend is applying to 10 plus degree apprenticeships. Some people apply to crazy numbers like 30, 40, 50. I'm not necessarily saying you need to do that. I personally applied to 13 degree apprenticeships. So that's the sort of number. I recommend 10 plus minimum, okay? Because it means there's lots of companies, like if in case you get rejected from some, you're still all right. You can get lots of practice by applying to these different companies. So applying to 10 plus is a really good marker that I would recommend doing. Just a note here, as I said, the more diligent you are in steps 1 and 2, the more successful you will be. Okay, so the more you did that work experience, the more courses you did, the more sort of teamwork responsibilities you did. If you delivered a presentation, it's going to give you a better application. It means you're going to have a better CV. If you've prepared properly, you've sent me your CV and cover letter for feedback, I send it back, you make it like really good, then it's just going to make you more successful in this application process. And this is really important, because here are some figures. For JLR, it is the top 3% of people who get into a degree apprenticeship. Okay, and if you go to something like the finance industry, it's way higher. JP Morgan, it's only the top 0.7% of people who get into an application. So that's why you really want to take steps 1 and 2 seriously. Yeah, it's like it's kind of a lot of effort, right, to write your CV and then do this work experience and all. There's this like 4-hour online course. Yeah, it's kind of annoying. But at the end of the day, do you want a degree apprenticeship or do you not want a degree apprenticeship? Degree apprenticeships are extremely competitive. You can't just be top 20% candidates, top 10%. You have to be top 3%, top 1%. This one on the right here, JP Morgan, it's got an applications to admissions ratio of 142 to 1. What that means is for every one degree apprenticeship, there are 142 people applying. So you have to beat 142 people to get to that role. Okay, so that's why you basically have to be a killer. I'll be honest with you, there's killers who go into this degree apprenticeship application process. You can't like half do it. You have to go all in. Okay, so that's why I'd recommend really following those steps 1 and 2. Follow that Notion checklist and follow that checklist from step 2. And that'll basically help you be successful in this application process. Okay? So remember the thing earlier I said where there's only, like, if we break it down, there's only 2 ways to be successful in the degree apprenticeship application process and get into a degree apprenticeship. First of all, you need to be a good candidate. And then second of all, you need to do well in the application process. We've covered this first one in like steps 1 and 2. Well, let's cover the second one now. Okay? Doing well in the application process. How do you actually do that? Right? It's all about practice. Okay? This is crucial, okay? Because I think a lot of people, throughout the whole thing, really, they do underestimate degree apprenticeships. They think, oh, I can just apply to one. I'm not really putting any effort in, and I'll automatically get into Amazon and earn £30,000. No, that's not going to happen. There's going to be thousands of other people applying who've got loads of work experience. They've practiced stuff and all this sort of thing. A lot of people go into these degree apprenticeship application processes unprepared. And if you're unprepared, I'll be honest, you're not going to get the job. So have a think about it right now. Do you seriously want to get into a degree apprenticeship during your gap year? And if you do, then this stage is really important. It's as important as any other steps I'm going to mention today. Okay? What you want to do is thoroughly research and practice each stage of the application process before you do it. And it's as simple as this. The more prepared you go in, the more likely you are to land the degree apprenticeship. So just have a think about, on a scale from 1 to 10, how much do you want a degree apprenticeship? And then that's how much, like, of a scale of 1 to 10, you should be practicing. So if you're like 1 out of 10, I don't really care about degree apprenticeship, then fine. Just do a 1 out of 10 practice and like barely even practice it. Don't even do anything. But if you like 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10, you really want a degree apprenticeship, then you want to make sure you're putting the effort in. 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10 practicing, okay, and researching. So it's things like when you get to a psychometric testing in the application process, you don't want to just jump straight in and just do it and not know what you're doing. I've had a couple of emails of people saying that they had psychometric testing. They'd never done it before. They had no idea what was going on. They went and did it and they failed it. Right? You don't want to be like that. When you get the psychometric testing, you want to make sure you're doing practice questions, you're researching, you understand the mark scheme in case you know how to pass. When you're doing interviews, you don't want to just jump head first into your first interview, not know what's going on. You can't answer any of the questions, you do badly, and then you get rejected. No, you want to do mock interviews with real questions and practice it so that by the time you get to your real interview, you can ace your real interview. Okay, this is really important. I can't stress this one enough. Practicing the different stages of the application process is crucial. Okay, practice makes perfect. Once you practice and practice and practice, you're then going to be able to consistently go into assessment centers and get the job. Okay. Just a quick plug. I do have a one-to-one paid coaching program. Okay, it is paid, by the way. We've had some really good results last year where I helped people with this sort of practice thing, coaching them through mock interviews, mock group exercise, and that sort of thing. If you are interested in that, you can actually just email me at apprenticeshipinsider@gmail.com to just register interest. Just put the subject like gap year coaching or something so I know where you're from. But if you are serious about getting into a degree apprenticeship and you want to do mock interviews and that sort of thing, just drop me an email there. Okay? Now, once you've done that, you've practiced, this is where you come to step 5, okay? Succeed. Okay? And this is the last thing you need to do after you practice. It's simply just go through the application process now and be successful. Simple as that. Like, you've practiced your psychometric test, you've practiced your interviews, your group exercises, your presentations. Now you just got to go through the application process. You've got the knowledge. You can go through and you're going to be much more successful after you've practiced. Okay, these are some of the people, like some more people I helped in my program last year. Get offers from Airbus, IBM, right? And there we go. Those are the 5 steps to get a degree apprenticeship as a gap year student. You just need to follow that exact framework, and then you should be getting a degree apprenticeship in roughly, I want to say like 9 months' time. I think 9 months' time would be good. So I've just put this quickly into a sort of diagram for you, just sort of visualize the timeline of what's going to happen for you in the next sort of year. So it's going to start off with September to October, that's when you're basically going to be doing these first 2 steps. You're going to be leveling up, getting your experience, getting your skills up, preparing, writing a draft CV, writing a draft cover letter. And then that's going to take you to roughly October, November, when the applications are going to start to open. And that's when you can come through and you can start applying to 10+ degree apprenticeships. And then as you're applying, you also want to make sure you're practicing the subsequent stages of the application process, whether that be the video interview, whether that be the normal interview, whether that be the presentation, whether that be the group exercise. You want to be practicing so that you're getting better at the application process so that you can beat like the other 100 people who are applying for your role. Okay. And as you're doing that, you're going to start getting offers in, you're going to start succeeding. Okay, so you can end up hearing from some of these degree apprenticeships as early as February. So some of the first offers I received were in February. So quite often by March, by April, you could potentially have your degree apprenticeship or degree apprenticeships secured. Okay, so that's what it's going to look like over the next sort of 9 months, and then probably by May you're all done. You can enjoy the next couple of months, and then hopefully in September 2025 you'll be starting a degree apprenticeship. That's the goal. Okay, that's the goal with this video. I've given you that roadmap today. So I hope that's helped. Thanks for watching. If you want to watch more videos like this, then feel free to subscribe. You can go click that button on the left. And if you want to watch another video right now, go click that one on the right. Thanks for watching. Have a great rest of your day. Peace out.